Morning, everybody. Welcome back to another rendition of Knives and Coffee. Today's subject, we're going to talk about being trapped in your vehicle in a winter environment. So stay tuned and we'll get into that. All right, guys. With today's subject, and this was actually a pretty common thing to happen in the past. People getting trapped in their vehicles. So I thought to bring this up, and there's a lot of different ways to look at it and different opinions on it. And some people think, that's good advice. You always stay with the vehicle. So your vehicle had broken down and you're trapped in it. You can look to a lot of things where that has happened during blizzards, say, up in Buffalo, New York, places like that. It's a very real phenomenon that happens. So, a good while back, I had seen an episode of Survivor Man with Les Stroud. I believe it was in Norway, and he did the scenario being trapped in a car, and he spent a few days there before then he kind of turned it around and then went to a kind of self-rescue kind of thing. And he had made some valid points on it, and depending on where you're at, it was, should you stay or should you go? And a lot of it had to do with what's your situation with your vehicle. It's a lot of snow and ice. You just can't, move forward or backwards, get out of there. Or, did you run out of gas? So there's a lot of that in that scenario. And that could definitely, absolutely change what you might need to do, whether you need to turn it into a self-rescue situation, or should you actually stay at the car. And if you actually have a emergency kit in your vehicle, like a nice car kit, and you're just simply stuck and you got plenty of gas and stuff, my personal thought, I think it would be safer definitely to stay with the vehicle. Because a lot of us out here in the U.S., it's going to be kind of rare that we're literally stuck out in the middle of nowhere, where it's, many, many miles before you can get to any kind of civilization. But on that part of that subject, you all feel free to put in the comments, do you think you should stay if you have, say, gas in the vehicle, and stay at the vehicle, use the vehicle for shelter, or should you risk moving on? So I'm kind of curious of everybody else's outlook on that. And to be fair, you can say, well, it's a lot of speculation, and that is true, because I've never been in that situation before, and it's easy to make a lot of assumptions. And obviously, it really a lot depends on how severe your situation is with the weather you're facing, whether, it's even feasible that you can attempt to walk out of that area. Or, by chance, if you happen to have an injury, let's say the scenario was a car wreck, you lost control of the vehicle and you were injured on top of that, then that definitely adds a lot more difficulty to survive in that situation. But I'm kind of curious, if everybody watching, how many of you guys actually have, say, vehicle kits, emergency vehicle kits? And if you do, share what you have in your kits with everybody in the comments. And you can kind of play off this scenario. If you're kind of playing along with me at home, you can kind of get the idea of, know what you got, and then you could kind of be like, well, I could do this, you know what I mean? So if you would, feel free to share that in the comments, everybody, and make a nice discussion point. So yeah, a lot of the dangers too, like I remember some reports, like people who were trapped in blizzards with a heavy snowfall, the snow got so deep it interfered with the exhaust, and of course, there are some people that unfortunately lost their lives due to that because the carbon monoxide, came right back up inside the vehicle itself. So that, there's a lot of different scenarios, and that would dictate how to best proceed in that scenario. But for the sake of the conversation, let's run off the scenario that we're not dealing with the blizzard is going to literally bury the car. Let's just say you're stuck and you just can't move forwards or backwards. You're literally just stuck. Maybe you're just even stuck in a ditch. You're high centered. It's icy. You got about 1.5 foot of snow on the ground, and it's below freezing outside. Let's just say it's 15 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll go with that. And you got what you normally have, your EDC on your person, and whatever you actually carry in your vehicle, if anything. So run off that scenario, and everybody can kind of put in the comments what's best for you to do. And just for the sake of distance, we'll say you are 20 miles from any form of civilization. So that actually will put you in a pretty dangerous spot as far as distance traveled. Semi out in the middle of nowhere, kind of wooded. You got heavy, moderate woods, and you got about 1.5 foot of snow on the ground, which will make your travel quite difficult if you go out on foot. And that's not too far of a stretch for where I live anyway. That could actually be a legit thing. That very specific situation. Minus, you'd really have to push it to find a place where you're literally 20 miles in any direction, away from any form of civilization, like an old farm, even a farmhouse or a barn, because people live almost everywhere and anywhere nowadays. But for the sake of the scenario, we're going to stretch it that far out, say 20 miles. So in the comments, guys, let me know how you're getting out of that situation. And everybody in the comments, guys, please don't be mean. I mean, people are going to have things that you disagree with, but try to discuss it in a helpful, friendly fashion. I greatly appreciate that. Rarely have I had negativity on this channel. Most of them, the few I had, has just simply been comments directed at me. So I appreciate everybody who is respectful. We got a lot of really good viewers. So, I really appreciate that, guys. Kind of debating on if I could find the time. I almost want to do a little experiment with this concept. Because like I said, I can make assumptions. I've never been through that situation before. And might take my truck out. Because this week we're having, up my way here, very, very cold weather. We're getting down almost single digits at night. So if I can get the ability to, I may actually take my truck out and do a scenario where I can't use the truck. I would just pretend like the truck is stuck and then kind of take it from there. But let you guys watching kind of let me know what you think. If you guys are be interested in seeing that, like I said, I can't promise how entertaining it'll be because I'm going to try to keep it real. It may be a thing where it could be boring. That's kind of what I was worried about, but it would be definitely educational because I've never experienced anything like that. Now we've got some snow back on here, but it's nothing major. Here, real quick, I'll flip the camera view around so you can see outside. Yeah, so nothing major. Now, however, our temperatures are pretty cold now. It's we're getting some seriously cold coming off these winter storm that's surging through the U.S. right now. That's going to be coming up from around Idaho, sweeping down into us. It's going to clip into Texas. It's kind of doing a bit of a crescent moon kind of deal. We're not going to get hit near as hard as some places to the south of West Virginia, but it's going to be pretty rough. Got some serious wind chills, and anytime you get below freezing temperatures and you drop in well below freezing temperatures, that's really dangerous. So, and by no means do I got a death wish. I mean, I'm going to make sure I've got a safety net in case something goes like horribly wrong if I am able to do it. But I just, it's like that's a scenario I can kind of put myself in, and I can make a really nice safety net, and it's not too difficult to get rescued if something bad happens. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. If you interested in that video, just let me know down in the comments, because otherwise I won't know. And we'll kind of go through, because I already got my basic survival kit for the vehicle, and I may actually ditch items out of it to make it more of a challenge, because I'm usually over prepared. So I might bring it down to a more basic, bare minimum kind of kit or car kit. Just because your average person probably ain't gonna have near as much stuff that I got, due to the fact that I'm just that conscientious about being prepared. Now my EDC will always stay the same, so I always have a pretty robust EDC no matter what, and that I will not compromise on, because I think it's silly to preach about EDC and showing items I carry and all that, then all of a sudden, like, oh, I forgot to take my EDC out today. If I want to do a specific videos on limiting my EDC, that's one thing, but put myself out there in the dead of winter and I'm not carrying my normal EDC, that's not a thing that's going to happen. I wouldn't do that. But in retrospectively looking at it, if I'm going to be trying to utilize the truck as much as I can, in that a lot of the ED stuff I got, for taking care of wood and fires and stuff, might have a limited usage, because if I do a fire, obviously can't do it too close to the vehicle, and I have to make sure that the wind can't blow embers around or hit the vehicle. And there's a lot of other stuff to be concerned about in that situation. But having the vehicle is definitely nice, because it's already a shelter that's right there. But it's not perfect. Simple, basic little wooden spoon. Okay, yeah. Let me reset the camera, guys, here, and we'll get to close this video out. Okay, guys, real quick, our knives for the day. We have the old timer splinter, and I can't remember the T something model this was. I did a video on this thing though. I think it was under budget gear. So if you guys interested, you can check that out. And got one of my old faithfuls, Gerber Prodigy. Right now, I think it's about a $60 knife, I do believe. May still be able to find it for $50. But my personal opinion, it's not super premium steel, but just the tempering and stuff on this knife, mine anyway, is fantastic. Holds an edge good. Nice, thick, robust. I definitely have a review on that on the channel. Highly recommend this knife, especially for those who are got a budget to consider, but you still want a pretty decent knife. Decent knife right there. All right, guys. Like I said in the comment, let's run that scenario. Let me know what you got in your vehicle, what's in your emergency kit, and you can combine it with what's in your EDC. this run through that scenario I gave, 20 miles out from any form of civilization. You're trapped in a ditch. You're high centered. Your vehicle is unmovable. You're not. The scenario is you cannot move that vehicle yourself. I don't know what are little tricks, and if you had a winch, your winch didn't work. Whatever, you can't get the vehicle out. So the vehicle can be used as your shelter, or you can huff it on foot. That's your scenario. But you can tell me how you're going to get yourself out of that situation or stay safe at that situation until you can signal for rescue or get rescued or whatever the case may be. And lastly, let me know what you guys think about me doing like a simulation, if you will, of that scenario. Try to do maybe like a night out and I'm stuck in my truck. So, it's definitely going to be uncomfortable for me, but that doesn't really matter to me. It's like, because I haven't been in that situation, and I'm not a masochist by any means, but it's just like, if I did that experiment, I think it would be very educational, because there'd obviously be a lot of stuff come up that I had never thought of. It's like, well, if I had this situation I'm in right now, it'd be better, or, I'm uncomfortable this way. If I had that particular item, it would have made that better. You know what I'm saying? So let me know in the comment, guys. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in another video.